Not only are today's guests two of my best friends, but they are also two of the experts in both of my books dedicated to breaking mental health stigma. Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health is geared towards older students and adults, and Mental Health Week is the go-to book for elementary school students to learn the basics of mental health in a fun way. I'm excited to bring these two on. We have been working for quite some time to nail down a time for this special episode. We're going to start it off by asking Jon, what does mental health mean to you?
Mental health is definitely the most important aspect of your overall health, and unfortunately, something that I think is far often overlooked.
We're trying every day with conversations like ours to destigmatize and let people speak about it just as much as physical health. We talk about this a lot, where if you get a broken arm, you heal for a certain amount of time. But if something's wrong mentally, often it isn't treated the correct way for many reasons. Richie, how about you? What does mental health mean to you?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Jon. I think that mental health is broken down, you could say, into multiple components. Someone kind of break it down to, body, mind, spirit. Body being, the actual physical health of the mind, neural connections, brain mass, how everything ties together, body to mind, body to mind, and mind to body. But there's definitely multiple factors to it, how someone feels, and then just the overall health of the mind. So I think that you can look at it in a couple of different angles, but it is a complex subject, and it definitely is the most important part of health.
Two amazing answers from these guests. We're just getting started. Thank you both for sharing. And to everyone listening on, welcome back and thank you for joining us. It is once again time to talk all things mental health, and this is a mental health break. I am your host and the author of Mental Health Week and Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, Vincent A. Lanci. You can learn more about me at Vincent A. Lanci across social media, my YouTube channel, or vincentalanci.com. If it is your first time joining us, each episode I sit down with mental health advocates and professionals from all over the world to share their stories and let you know you are not alone. We all have a different why relating to mental health, and I began focusing on my mental health after suffering a traumatic brain injury. You will hear each guest's why in just a few minutes. Before I let these two mental health all-stars introduce themselves a bit more, I'd like to share that this episode is brought to you by Tampa Counseling and Wellness, dedicated to helping individuals looking to positively transform their lives through compassionate counseling and wellness coaching. If you struggle with depression, anxiety, or other mental health issues, give them a call today for a free consultation. Tampa Counseling and Wellness, therapy that inspires change. And you can find out all of their info in the episode description. Just scroll down. If you had read my books, then you know both of these guys already. If you went to school with me, there's a chance you know both of them, or at least one. All three of us graduated from UT together, and Rich and I also graduated high school together. They have both been guests on the show for individual episodes, but they've had major life updates since. They were some of the first guests to join us on this show. I'm going to let them introduce themselves because they can do a much better job than me. Rich, you can go first.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Ben. So yeah, man, it's been some time. I think we've both or all experienced a lot of growth. I guess mental, actually, due to my mom, she suffered from alcoholism, and that was a tough thing to watch, and it's a lot to handle as a young kid. And then I've just grown into medicine, learning to love medicine, becoming a doctor myself. I thought this stuff was really important to me. Yeah, so it kind of started young. And then, we all kind of had our bumps in the road. Obviously, an eye-opening event. It kind of turned us into, hey, let's let's take this full throttle, let's really investigate how we can be our best selves. So it was through those events in my life that really changed how I felt and, like what I wanted to focus on.
I like the lesson that you're leaving right there too. When things happen, learn from the things that happened and make something positive come out of that. Great examples there. Jon, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Hi, I'm Jon Infeld. I'm currently a health occupations teacher in a career technical program in a high school. And listen to the last podcast with me, I suffered a traumatic brain injury as well. And it shouldn't take a traumatic brain injury for everyone to really, take care of their mental health and take care of themselves.
Well said. I'm so glad you both are rejoining the show because of how much value you added the first time. And now so much has happened. I want to start it off here, Jon. Talk about your role in either one of the books.
Sure thing. Well, again, like I just mentioned, traumatic brain injury and mental health are so important. But how I got into health and public health and all that stuff was trying to help people learn about their personal health, their mental health before things get bad. Before you go see somebody like Rich, a doctor, you want to take care of yourself the best that you can. And that's my role, as a health teacher, as a traumatic brain injury advocate.
Jon's in the book. That's where he sheds light on all of his expertise. He also lets us a lot know about fitness and staying hydrated. Jon, do you have a fitness tip for everyone listening on for this episode today? One fitness tip.
Yeah, it's a great connection for your mental health. So, it's not all about muscles and sports. It's definitely beneficial all around.
Well said. Richie, your turn now. Let's talk about your role here too.
Yeah, so I definitely like to stay on the health aspect with fitness and mental health. I think that is probably the number one thing anyone can do. I've always loved this study which showed that exercise was more valuable, more efficient, less side effects than using something like antidepressants to boost moods. Lately I've really been getting into supplements, how they work on a neurochemical level. I've been taking a lot more vitamin D, watching what I eat, decreasing, insulin spikes and saturated fats percentages, and really just like honing in on, what my bigger goals are and how I can live a healthier life. Because, when you set goals, you really set a positive mindset. And I mean, for me, I guess I never really got into specifics, but for my kind of life opening event was when they found like a tumor in my brain stem. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to die. And this was, junior year of college. And I think, we all kind of like focused in like, wow, this could have been like my last life on earth or something like that. And, I think that the way to really optimize your mental health is really to take hold of physical health and let your goals be the motivators to then give you like positive feelings, and to then elevate those around you so that everyone's living better, everyone's happier. You have a good friend group, you have a good social group. So I mean, it's such a deep topic. I feel like my role in the books was really cool because I got to kind of dive into the nitty gritty things, just being in love with science. I kind of got to fulfill that perspective.
Yes, you did. You both contributed so much value to my books, and I appreciate for both being in them. In fitness, especially now during the pandemic, when people are around the house a lot more, they're sitting around, maybe they're eating a lot more. Fitness can be life-changing at some point if you really let yourself go a bit during the pandemic. What is one thing you learned, though, Rich, about your mental health during the pandemic?
So all the gyms were closed, and that was tough for me. I was finding a way to reconnect with nature by going for more runs. I quickly set a new goal. Normally most people's goals are pretty vain when it comes to working out, right? They want the six pack, they want the shredded biceps and shoulders. But my goal switched. I'm glad it did. It switched into running. And then during that, period of quarantine, I was running up to, I think my top was like 12 miles or 14 miles.
Wow.
And that kind of set a kind of like a benchmark in my mind that, okay, I can do this. I know what endurance running is. I know, what, little things are going to come my way and how to attack them. And then this year, about 4 or 5 months ago, I ran my first marathon, like 26.2 miles with one of my best friends, Rishi, which I think you know. And that was just, if it wasn't for the pandemic and showing me to get outside and that I could put those miles in, I definitely wouldn't have believed in myself so much. So just getting outside, getting that sun, that vitamin D is life changing. Yeah.
Vitamin D is huge. It improves your mental health. It definitely elevates it. I take walks throughout the day as a break just to make sure I get some sunshine. Jon, what's one thing you learned about your mental health during the pandemic?
It's definitely something that needs constant work.
Yeah.
You can't, you should take days off, but don't neglect yourself. Like Rich said, the gyms were closed, and that was really my way of dealing with a lot of things when it comes to mental health. And I found different avenues because of that. And just always looking out for, your best well-being, taking care of your mental health is super important. And pandemic gave myself and a lot of us a lot of time to reflect. And
I'm with you. Self-reflection is so key. I'm doing it as often as possible, at least weekly, just to see where I can improve and what let me down. The pandemic was just a challenge because it was a curveball. It was just a stop of a change of life, something that no one was prepared for. Unfortunately, nothing close to it. Now we got the hope that we're on the back end of it, but we'll see where the future continues to take us. I'm sure you both will continue to raise a lot of awareness for the importance of mental health. Before we find out how to get in touch with each of these experts and learn more about them, Jon, if you can leave our audience with one idea, thought, or statement related to mental health, what would it be?
Definitely what I'm talking about is find time for yourself, find time to reflect and find something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be a gym, something that, makes you happy. Take some time out of your day. Right now, people's stress levels are through the roof, and you need some time to, whether you want to call it reflect, meditate, take care of your mental health.
Love it. I'm a big advocate for taking that mental health day each week. Unfortunately, there's always too much going on for the whole day, but in the morning I'll do an hour or two. And like yesterday, Jets last game, I was taking that day just to relax, enjoy myself. And even though it didn't turn out too well as far as a win or loss, I love the Jets. I was able to eat some good food, relax, and just prepare for the next week, plan ahead. And that was really valuable for me. Richie, how about you? What's something you can leave everybody off with?
I always recommend to surround yourself with a good group of friends. I'm very fortunate with the friends I have. When you individualize and you get older and grow up, you realize, you got to start saying no to some people because it won't be good for your mental health. You don't want to be going to the bar every night. And, socializing is probably one of the most important things humans need to do. So finding the right group, people where you don't have to say no all the time because, they're just headed in kind of like directions that aren't going to benefit you or make you or your mind feel good. Instead find the people that you're agreeing with and that, you like the direction they're going. And those are the people that you cherish and, you take a long way with you through the journey of life. So I'm thankful you guys, reached out to me. It's awesome to see you guys. So.
Yeah, socializing has so many benefits for your mental health. Plus, it makes us feel like we are not alone. And I agree with what you said there, Richie. At this point, the people you remain in contact with most, you need to have a lot of similarities. Often at times, I wonder if, and you hear this, if you met at different points in your life with certain friends, would you guys still be friends? Would you still be as close? And it makes me think because right now, even when I was just in New York. I love everyone that we grew up with, everybody that I met from college there. But I was around a lot of people who just, they weren't in the gym, they weren't dieting, all the things that I live and do, planning ahead, love my career, love the things I do. I was only around one or two people who really loved their career, and I was just so surprised by that, because how this passion wakes me up every day. I know I speak for both of you too. You love what you do. Breaking down mental health stigma is also a positive. And I think that's something that's good for my mental health, is making sure I'm doing things I enjoy doing, I like doing, because the brand just keeps evolving. We have a really, really big announcement coming in April, some exciting stuff coming during next holiday season. But first, I want to ask them, how can everybody find you guys? Rich, John?
Yeah, so I keep it simple, just Instagram, Richard Boccio, MD. That's definitely the best way to reach out to me.
Yeah, I do the same. Instagram, Johnny_Chase. And that's it. That's the best way to reach me.
Be sure to say hello to these guys. Reach out if you have any questions. They are here to help and are great resources. We are at a mental health break on all social media platforms except Twitter. Because of the character limit, we are at Podcasts by Lanci, where you get updates from all of the shows. I am at Vincent A. Lanci on all social media. My YouTube channel is Vincent A. Lanci, and my website is vincentalanci.com. These two guys are in Mental Health Week, and Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. They're on Amazon, so you can prime it today and tomorrow. Thank you for listening. We will see you next Tuesday for the next episode on a mental health break. Guys, thank you for stopping by.
All right, Vin. It was great, man.
Thanks for having me, Vin.